Alright guys, Scump NUKE again today. Hope you're doing good and enjoying your day so far. The Black Ops 7 beta is here. All the pro players are now getting their hands on the game. Scrap giving his reaction, but certainly some of the OpTic guys as well. Dashy and even Mercules giving their early thoughts on the game, and some of the shots that we are seeing fly around today, absolutely disgusting. Looks like the movement might well favour some of those guys on that team. Scump dropping a ton of nukes as well. Lots of talk about the maps in the game and which ones might well be played in competitive. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. We are going to start right about here with the greatest public match player in the history of COD. That, of course, is none other than Scump. I think Formal made that assessment on Scump not that long ago. But it absolutely rings true, right? If Scump's having a good time playing pubs on a game, it's probably a pretty good sign. The games that he was best at, even competitively, tended to be the ones that he enjoyed playing pubs on. And so far, this game looks like a pretty fun pub game. Scump drops his first nuke yesterday. If I zoom out for a second, you guys will see on the right-hand side, he does the like the Scump pose when he drops the nuke. Yeah, there you go. It's only a few pixels, but you get what he means. And this was far from the only nuke that Scumpy dropped of the day. There was a bit of talk about skill-based matchmaking, right? Because some were saying, oh, how's Scump getting these lobbies when some of the other guys are getting stuck in more challenging ones? I think often when you're in a 6 stack, the skill-based matchmaking tends to be rather more favourable, or it kind of breaks it sometimes. But also, as Scump drops this nuke, I did want to mention this weapon, right? So he's using the Drazah 45. Now, many of these weapons, certainly SMGs in COD history, that have 45 in the name, the 45 calibers, they tend to be really rather good. Like, these tend to be the ones that are almost like hybrid SMG ARs. And yeah, it's not like, I mean, he is mapping these guys. It's not like he's killing them in 4 bullets across the map, although, to be fair, it sometimes doesn't look like it's far off. But it's like the Vector, you know, the Vector, even the Vector K10, I don't know, that was the Black Ops 2 version, wasn't it? But the Vector from Ghost, I think, was meant to be, it was a 45 caliber weapon. There's a bit of that going on with this Drazah. So there has been some talk about whether this gun is just a little bit too strong. This was the 4th nuke of the day that Scump dropped, and he went on to drop 8. So, I mean, yeah, this is what this guy does. Day 1 of the beta, 8 different nukes on the day. So who's shocked? I mean, look, I'm not shocked that Scump dropped a nuke or 2, but to drop 8 is pretty commendable. So we'll get back to Black Ops 7 in a second. Before we get there, a couple of rosters things, because, well, Parasite on the flank a couple of days ago said there was a few things that he expected to happen roster-wise. He'd heard some rumours. Rumour has it that some of those rumours probably not true, it's certainly not anymore. This is also how things go in Rostermania, right? When it's like, oh, this is happening, and maybe that was happening, but now it's not. They've changed their mind, something's changed. Doesn't mean that that assessment was necessarily wrong. You know, he talked about Slasher and Mumba being an AR duo on the Ravens. Whether that happens or not, maybe there was some truth behind that, maybe there wasn't, who knows. But as I said yesterday, it's likely that at least some of what Parasite was saying was true. And according to Ronnie, it is true what he said about the Cloud9 New York team. So they are going to indeed be looking at Afro, Beans and aBe. Now, for a team that seems to be going full poverty org, in my opinion, this is a pretty good team. I'm happy that Afro's getting another opportunity. I think Beans, you know, he's a character, right? First of all, which I think we like to see in the scene in general. He shoots straight. I think Beans will probably look back at his most recent year and think that he should have been more effective than he was. I certainly feel the same way. But I think that Afro and Beans as a combo, obviously maybe there's a bit of bias in me, right, because I'm British, but still, I like that. And then I think aBe did a good job on Toronto at the end of the season. Well, it wasn't Toronto, they represented Koi, right? He turned up for the World Cup. But still, he did a pretty solid job and was considered one of the more promising players in that field. So Afro, aBe, presumably Afro, aBe, you know, probably they will stick themselves on the SMGs. Beans will be one of the ARs. He's a fast AR. So, look, I think the way Cloud9 are going here, I actually kind of like it. If I was in their position, I would probably have done something pretty damn similar. And as Ronnie says, they're shifting strategy after mixed results last year. By targeting a blend of high potential players and veterans, the organisation aims to secure a roster that can grow together while still competing with the top teams. So if deals are completed, Cloud9 would become one of the more intriguing teams. Who knows what they're going to do to round out the team? Because, look, what I call Afro and Beans veterans, I mean, look, Afro has been around a while at this point. His first year was Cold War, which is going to be up on 5 years ago. But and I do think that Afro still has the potential. I know he's been up and down. He was on LA Thieves, of course, like not this most recent season, but the year before. And he was good in Search and Destroy. The respawn wasn't quite as good. They brought JoeDeceives back. We know what's happened since then. But not that Afro was bad by any means. So I think there's a lot of potential in this trio. I just wonder who the right fourth is to kind of complete the mix on this one. So intrigued to your thoughts on that. But let's get back to BO7 because Scrap was playing it for the first time. This map, by the way, I think is Cortex, right? And I love the look of this map. This just, the more I watch this map, the more it reminds me of like real classic Treyarch maps, right? There's a lot of BO3 and BO4 in the pixels on the screen right now, if you know what I'm saying. There's also a bit of Infinite Warfare. Like, I genuinely do feel like this game, and maybe that's just because Infinite Warfare was closer to any Treyarch game than any other Infinity Ward game was. So I think there's a little bit of that going on. But Scrap was playing it for the first time and saying, damn, like, you know, yeah, this is pretty fun, the movement. He still believes that holding the iron is going to be the way to win. We'll see. This was Dashy, largely with the M8. There has been a lot of talk and will continue to be so as to whether Dashy and the M8 will actually be allowed. But again, here we are on Cortex. This is just such a... I mean, look at this, right? Look at this part of the map. It's just beautiful. The colours are nice. I appreciate the contrast has been cranked up here for some reason. But, look, it's like Hunted, right? It's like Hunted from Black Ops 3. There's a lot of elements of that going on. The M8, of course, is also in BO3, and yeah, the M8 is pretty tasty in this game. I mean, there's only one way to look at it. A couple of clips therefore I'll share, not just from the M8, but also from the Drazah, right? So this is that weapon that we mentioned earlier. This is aBeZy using it, and absolutely cooking with it, it's got to be said. This gun is pretty disgusting, and I think the early feeling is, if there were no GAs, the SMGs would probably use this thing, the ARs would probably use the M8. Both guns are very strong. There's lots of other strong weapons in the game as well, but for now, that seems to be what people are leaning towards in terms of balance. This gun is very powerful. It has like no recoil. The iron sights are really clean. It's yeah, it's one of those weapons that is pretty tough to beat, but there was plenty else happening elsewhere, certainly for Mercules. Mercules hops on. We've not really seen him play much in some time. Of course, we know that Mercules turned up and played the OpTic week, right? And he absolutely cooked everyone for the whole week. And yeah, he's getting used to the wall bouncing, he's getting used to some of the mechanics. There are a lot of doors on these maps. I mean, certainly this one, here we are on, what is it, the Forge, right? Plenty of doors on this one. Now, they're not manual doors, but they're automatic doors, kind of like what we had on Arsenal back in the day, but more than we have on Arsenal. And also on Arsenal, the doors were see-through. So at least if you could get close to the door, open it, recognizing you were going to get into a gunfight, but you could prepare for said gunfight. So I think if we're going to keep the amount of doors we've got, I would like for them to actually be transparent. So, obviously bulletproof, but transparent would be, I think, a step.
Definitely. Iron. Oh, dude, I'm telling you, Iron just wins every game.
They got me. Let me see a wall bounce.
Hold on.
Oh!
Oh my god, the default class has stem on it.
Dude, this game's insane.
Just Charlie. Where you at? Where you at, young blood? Where you at, young blood? Oh shit. Yo, did I just get active on this guy, chat? Yo, I'm actually dead, bro. Fuck it then. I just needed one rep, chat. I just needed one rep. But yo, McQueen is not fading, bro. McQueen.
Yeah, we are. We are only 4 people. Oh, we are? That makes sense. Holy fucking shit on. Oh my god. Hold on, we're making a comeback. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god, hold on. This is so winnable.
We're winning now.
Wait, they flipped though.
No, 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 no. They'll spawn back left.
I'll get it, I'll get it. Oh my god, hold on.
No. Holy shit. Oh my god, we won.
Yo. That was insane.
Losing Bravo. Joy Stewart in my hill.
Again. Take all your tags, we don't worry.
Our lead has been stolen. Steal it back. Terminado.
So early days, Mercules has to have one of the best POVs that I've seen so far. I mean, a lot of the POVs have been nice, of course, and these are some highlight clips. But nonetheless, right, some of the stuff that Mercules has been doing is pretty nice. Again, this is with the Drazah, right? And this gun is outrageous in Mercules' hands. I also think the fact that he's put a sight on it, he's thrown an ELO on there, means that, you know, would you even say this is an SMG watching some of this gameplay? You know, you could think that it's... I mean, I guess it might even become considered a flex gun, right? But yeah, regardless, it's a pretty strong weapon. Mercules is using it to great effect, and well, he ends up dropping 144 kills in this map. Now, Simp, I think, you know, he ended up dropping over 100 against some of the OpTic guys. We've seen lots of kill games that have happened. But yeah, Mercules just spawns into a lobby here, drops 144, and yeah, people are going to talk about SBMM, they're going to talk about some other things, and yeah, it's pubs at the end of the day, and he lost the game. Cortex Hardpoint, he lost the game, only 144 eliminations, unfortunately for him, but still, good signs. I think Mercules is having a good time on the game early on. Huke as well, using the wall bouncing mechanic. We are going to see a lot of stuff going on like this, for good or for bad. I mean, you know, I think it's going to be fine. I just do wonder, right, like if Black Ops 3 came out today, I wonder how quickly people will discover some of the things that you could do. Because in BO3, even at the end of that game's life cycle, people still weren't fully tapped into all of the possibilities that the wall running and the wall bouncing and everything in Black Ops 3 had to offer during the regular game's life cycle. Certainly early on in BO3, it was very new, like that type of jetpack movement. Whereas in this game, you know, I mean, look at this type of stuff, right? It's interesting, for sure. Is it going to be super viable and valid and competitive? I don't know, but I feel like the pros nowadays, they're so much quicker to put everything into context and understand the way to play the game. I mean, that was pretty disgusting there from Huke. It's situations like this that I wasn't really expecting the wall bounce to be super viable. But the idea of having all of these walls, getting one kill, bouncing off this and hitting with a shotgun, that's pretty nice, and we're seeing very early on people already start to figure out what you can do with this. As I say, the doors are a talking point. Maps like this, I mean, here we go, the Drazah 45. We're posted up on a head glitch. There's a door. If you want to open the door, you've got to get close to the door, and you are just going to get gunned down immediately, right? So there is discussion on whether that really should be the case. As Parasite says, the sliding doors should be able to be turned off in a private match setting. Again, that's something that I do agree with. On the map like the Forge, in that center, you've got like the whole circular thing spinning around. That should be disableable. If you turn on CDL rule set, if you turn on CDL hardpoint, whatever, those doors should stay open, in my opinion. Or, as I say, if you want to make it like Arsenal was, where there was only a couple of doors, you know, it was like, what, how many doors were there in Arsenal? 3, I guess it was 4 doors, 5 doors, one of the back. There was quite a few doors on the map, but they were all see-through, they were all transparent. You could all see a guy on the other side, so you know not to challenge. If there's a guy posted up on a head glitch, and I'm going to open the door, you know, I know not to chal him, or I can chal him and take my risk, as it were, but at least I know that I know where to look, basically, as I'm coming out the door. Otherwise, you're just going to get slammed. So that's where it is right now. The maps are a good conversation. I definitely think they are significantly better than we've had in BO6. I'm more optimistic about this game than I was a couple of weeks ago. I think, you know, again, you don't want to go too out of control with the optimism around the title. But I think having seen the beta and everything that's coming through, it's at least to some extent living up to some early expectations. Whether it's really going to deliver in the long term, again, there's always a honeymoon period. But very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.